Hi, I'm back, and today I'm going to go and do a van camp at a place with some brilliant World War II history. Now today's video is going to be part of the Stealthh Camping Alliance car camping challenge, and well, the weather forecast for tonight is dire. The forecast is for 50-mile-an-hour high winds and possibly rain as well, so it could be an eventful night. So I suppose I better just get on the road. Well, I'm parked up where I want to stay for tonight, and it's blowing a hoolie outside, but I'm going to brave it. I may have to put some subtitles on. You might not be able to hear what I'm saying, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about where I am and why I've chosen to camp here. Today, I'm camping at the Loch of Strathbeg. It's Great Britain's largest coastal dune loch or coastal lagoon. And it's a pretty unique place. It's designated as a site of special scientific interest. Now, it used to connect to the sea, and in the medieval period, it had a thriving port. But in the Great Storm of 1720, which raged for about 3 weeks, the sea deposited so much sand, it was cut off from the sea, and it very quickly flooded from all the burns and rivers that were joining it, and it doubled in size. Now, in World War I, there was a seaplane base here, and the planes used to patrol the North Sea, which is about a kilometre that way, to hunt for U-boats. But in the early part of World War II, it had some unusual history. It had a lot of activity of spies and double agents in the area, and that's a bit of history I'd like to tell you about. Now, if you're not into the history bit, feel free to jump forward to this bit here, where the camp carries on. Well, those of you who are still here, I'll tell you a couple of stories about some very interesting espionage that went on around here. So, here we go. In 1940, Hitler was pushing hard to get his plan to invade the British Isles, known as Operation Sea Lion, off the ground. Very quickly, his high-ranking officers realised that they knew very little about the internal defences of Britain, and hurriedly put together a plan to send multiple spies to Britain to gather intel and start sabotaging strategic targets. This plan was known as Operation Lena. Now, the personnel for Lena were gathered quickly, and they were given very little training, with the main criteria being the ability to speak English. Some didn't even have credible paperwork, but they were still deployed. On the night of the 29th of October 1940, a German seaplane flown from occupied Norway landed on the sea just off the coast of Buckie on the Moray Firth. An inflatable boat was deployed, and under the cover of darkness, 3 Nazi spies made it to shore. They were Vera Eriksson, Karl Theodor Drucker and Werner Watte. Now the plan was to blend in and catch a train and make their way south to London. Now the group split up, with Watay heading to Buckie station and Ericsson and Drucker went to Port Gordon station. On the morning of the 30th of October 1940, John Geddes was working at the station porter at Port Gordon railway station near Buckie. Like everyone else in the country at that time, he was doing his bit for the war effort, looking out for anything that was unusual. So when he noticed a man and a woman waiting on the platform who looked very out of place, he got suspicious. He noticed that their clothes were drenched and that they were carrying large suitcases. He casually said good morning to them, and their reply in English seemed a bit odd. Their accents, well, they just seemed a bit wrong, especially the man's. Now John kept his cool and he secretly contacted the local police and then went back to the platform to engage in them further, keeping calm until the local police arrived. Now, the local constable, Robert Grieve, arrived. They were searched and found to be carrying weapons, plans of military targets and £400 in cash in English banknotes. The authorities were informed to look out for additional spies heading south, and Watay was apprehended by police in Edinburgh getting off a train from Buckie. The 3 spies were quickly transported to London, where they were put on trial. Carl Drucker and Werner Watay were sentenced to be hanged, but Vera managed to survive. She testified against them and became an agent for MI5, working to identify and turn Nazi agents. Now Drucker and Watay were executed as spies at Wandsworth Prison on the 6th of August 1941. Vera Eriksson wasn't the only Nazi spy to turn double agent. On Monday the 7th of April 1941, 2 Norwegians, John Moe and Tor Glad, who'd been recruited by the Nazis as spies, were dropped off by a German seaplane just off the coast at Crowvey on the Moray Firth. On arrival, they immediately turned themselves in to the local police, the thing they had planned right from the start. MI5 was informed of their arrival and they were recruited as British operatives under the double cross system, assigning them the code names Mutt and Jeft, after a popular comic strip at the time. The pair, along with British intelligence, faked sabotage attacks to convince the Nazis that their agents were succeeding in their mission. They also relayed false information about the planned invasion back to Nazi officials, directing German forces away from the sites of the Allied D-Day landings. Now on Saturday, the 20th of February 1943, the Luftwaffe launched a bombing raid on the town of Fraserburgh. The bombing raid was arranged to cover a supplies drop for Moe and Glad at the Loch of Strathbeg. Unbeknown to the Nazis, the supplies drop had actually been arranged by the MI5 double agents to continue their cover that Moe and Glad were still active as Nazi spies. In 1944, after many successful missions for MI5, John Moe was now free to join the Norwegian army and help the liberation of his country. He received no medals in recognition of his work for the British, although he was given £50 from MI5 as a gift. The money was used to buy his fiancée an engagement ring. For Tor Glad, there was no such fond farewell. In 1944, his loyalty to MI5 was put in doubt and he was imprisoned. He remained interred on the Isle of Man until the end of the war, on suspicion of being a German agent, a suspicion that was never proven. In May 1945, he was returned to Norway and immediately arrested by the Norwegian authorities for collaboration. He was eventually released without charge in 1947, a free but very broken man by that time. After the war, Vera Eriksson seems to have disappeared, and there are many stories and theories about what happened to her. Her story is worthy of a video in its own right, as during her life she's known to have been a secret agent for the Soviets, the Nazis, Germany and the British Secret Service. As for John, the observant, core-headed railway worker, well, he lived a long life and passed away at home in 1967. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Now I'm going to dive back into the van because I'm getting battered by the wind, and I think it's probably time to set up and get some food. Okay, it's gone dark now, and all the dog walkers and bird watchers have finally gone home. Who'd have thought this little car park would have been so busy on such a windy, wet, horrible day as it is, but it was hoaching people. But now I'm going to have to turn this into a stealth camp. I've got a farmhouse about half a mile that way, and I've got a house about a mile that way. And I don't think the house can see me, but certainly I'm in plain view of the farmhouse. So I'm going to have to put some window blinds up to obscure the light when I'm in here. Otherwise, I'll stand out like a sore thumb. So I've made some window blinds. I bought some window blinds off Temu, and I've trimmed them so they'll fit my little car-based van. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll show you once we're blacked out inside and I can get all the van lit up, and then it's time for something to eat. And tonight, it's Burns night tonight, so in honour of the Scottish national poet, I am going to have haggis, and I'm going to eat it in the traditional way. That is, fried in a pan and eaten in a Glasgow high-fired roll with lots of butter and washed down with iron brew. So I shall get the blinds up and then we'll crack on with that. Okay, that's us all set up, stealth, as best I can anyway. I've got my covers on the windows there. I'll move the thing. I've got covers on the back windows. Yeah, they're not perfect blackout, but they certainly don't make it stand out as much. And there's the front. But I want to leave the side window like that. I'm going to leave the side window open because if we get a starry night, I'll get a chance to see it across the loch, and that'll be nice. So that kind of points out into the wilderness. Nobody's over there. Just that direction and that direction. I want to keep any sort of light down to a minimum. But anyway, I'm ready to cook, and this is my setup. So my old camping stove, big frying pan, high-fired rolls. Yeah, they're not burnt. That's a Glasgow delicacy. High-fired rolls. And I've got my haggis, and for afters, ginger squares, because nothing's more Scottish than ginger. So I shall get the haggis on, and we'll start eating, because I'm absolutely starving. So we'll get the camera set up so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get some food on the go. Well, I'm an idiot. I was wondering why it wasn't cooking very fast, and I forgot to turn the pot stand over so the pan was sitting right on top of the gas. So now I've flipped it over. They're cooking away merrily, so what an idiot. I always forget to do something. So yeah, this is the setup. I don't have a lot of room. The van is about 4 foot long. In fact, the front seat folds flat and goes down to floor level, so I can actually stretch out. And actually from the dashboard to the back doors is about 6'10". So I only just fit in this van. It's actually smaller than a car, but I'm doing the car camp challenge in a car-based van. Well, because I don't have a car, so this is what I've got. Anyway, we're getting close, and I am really looking forward. This haggis, it smells great. It was freshly shot locally on the hills by my stalker Dave. So free-range haddock, free-range haggis. So I'm going to squash it down so it fattens the patty out, and then I'm going to get it into some bread. So haggis is ready. The rolls are nicely softened. I softened them in the pan. I've got a big wodge of butter on there because, well, you've got to put butter in as well. So I shall scoop one up and see if I can get it up in a wanna. There we go. So on there like that. And there we go. The traditional serving of haggis in Scotland in a high-fired Glasgow roll with a great big wodge of butter. And I'm probably going to burn my face off, but I'll sit down. Oh, let's get sat down. And maybe get myself in frame. There we go. That is fantastic. I've got 3 of these. I am going to be stuffed, but probably not that stuffed that I can't eat some ginger cake as well. But as you can see, it's getting quite cold now, so I'm going to tuck into this while it's hot, and I'll come back to you in a bit, because that's fantastic. Oh yeah, good grub. Well, I'm still eating my dinner. I'm on my second one, and I'm washing it down with some iron brew. But I've just done a flyby from a farmer on a quad, and he rode really slow past. He pulled in behind and pulled in. So I think it's only a matter of time till I actually get a visit. But I don't think technically I'm doing anything wrong. It's a public road. I'm parked in a lay-by at the side of the public road, and hopefully he's not going to give me grief over it, because I want to stay here tonight. So if I have any more hassles, I'll bring you back. Haggis is done, and 10 out of 10. High-fired rolls. They look mad. They look like lumps of coal. But if you ever get a chance to try a morning roll that's high-fired, or a Scottish roll that's high-fired, or a Glasgow roll, they come under lots of different names depending on where you are. But high-fired rolls just taste fantastic. And with haggis, absolutely top draw. So it's been about an hour, and I've had no more visits from farmers or anything, so I should be all right. And my haggis has gone down, and I think it's time for some McGee's ginger squares. There we go. I don't know if we can make that out. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I've ever had one of these before. So let's open it up. And wow, that's a decent chunk of cake. And take the sticker off my finger, and I'm going to give it a try. It's very sweet, and yeah, definitely it's like a spiced cake. Ginger, allspice, mace, and possibly cinnamon. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm not going to read the ingredients. A nice traditional spicy ginger cake with white sugar icing, nice and sweet and stodgy. So I'm going to plug away at this. It's a hard job, but someone's got to do it. And I'm going to kick back and listen to my audiobook for a bit. It's about, what time is it? 8 o'clock-ish? It's about 8 o'clock, so I've got a bit of time to kill for its bedtime, and I'm not going to set up. I'm going to leave my bedding out, not out until the last minute, for a number of reasons. One, there's not a lot of room in here. I don't know whether the camera picks up how small this space is, but if I put my bedding down, I've got nowhere else to sit other than on the bedding. But also, I want to leave it to the last minute, because if I have to pack up and go, I'd rather not have to pack all my bedding away. So I'm going to leave that, I'm going to eat this, drink my iron brew, and listen to my audiobook, and I'll see you just before bedtime. Okay, it's time for bed, so I'm going to have to set up. So I've had to move around, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So that's the front seat, and it goes flat. The toilet's gone over there. I've got a couple of boxes here with kit in, and I'm going to put I'm going to blow an air mattress up, and I'm going to lie that way, and I just about fit between the dashboard and the back door. I did tell you it was a little van. So I'll set up and I'll show you what I've done. So I've got a Trekology blow-up mat, nice wide one. I've got the Leviathan sleeping bag, the OEX Leviathan. I've even bought a pillow from home down there somewhere. And I remember the last time I was sleeping in the van, I don't do it very often, and the wheel arches are freezing cold. I remember rolling over in the night and touching them. So what I've done is I've bought a bit of old foam mat, and we can see that here, and that, oh, sit up, hopefully that will stop me touching that cold wheel arch in the night, because this is not a camper van, this is a builder's van, and other than a bit of insulation soundproofing on the roof and a couple of the panels over there, it's bare metal. and it gets really cold and you get condensation on it. So it's not an ideal thing. It's not something I do very often. It's set up for emergency sleeps and that's about it. But any road, time has come for me to hit the sack, and I will see you all in the morning. So hopefully it'll be an uneventful night and I'll get some sleep. The van is rocking all over the place. The wind is really up now, so I have a feeling it's going to be a bumpy night, but hopefully without any visitors, let's put it like that. So till the morning, I'll see you then. Well, good morning. That was a wild night. It's been blowing a gale. It felt like the van was going to blow over in the middle of the night. It was bouncing about, and it's still, I think, hear it, howling a gale and pouring a rain outside. Yeah, it's the weather has not eased off at all. It should be light already, but I guess the cloud cover has meant that the sun's barely showing. But yeah, it's dark, wet and windy outside, so I am going to pack up here and get a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to be heading on the road. So first things first, let's get some coffee on. Well, that's me all packed up. The van's on and it's demisting. I've had a brew and a pee, and it's time to hit the road. The sun should be up, but it's still dark outside, so I can only assume we've got 100% cloud cover. It's absolutely chucking down with rain and it's a horrible morning, so it's time to go home. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!